Regular meeting of the Paris City Council is hereby called to order at 5:30 p.m. For the purpose of this meeting, there is a quorum of the council present. Mr. Gene Anderson will deliver the invocation, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Hughes. Please rise.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, as always, we thank you for each and every blessing, for every good and perfect gift comes from you. And we just pray, Father, that we use these gifts wisely, that we would act in a way, Father, that would be glorifying to you, and Father, people might see in us Jesus Christ as we do our day-to-day business. We pray especially for our council tonight as they do the city business, that you would guide and direct them. And we just pray that this town, Father, might be a town that glorifies you. For we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Item number 4 is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. If necessary, the City Council may convene into executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on this agenda. The public forum is now open. If there's anyone who wishes to address the council, please state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, the Citizens Forum is now closed. Next item is the consent agenda. Does any member, items on the consent agenda are approved by a single action of the council, with such approval applicable to all items appearing on the consent agenda. A council member may request any item to be removed and consider it as a separate item. Does any member wish to remove an item for discussion? If not, is there a motion to approve all items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 13 on the regular agenda, continue the public hearing and act on an ordinance considering the petition of Nathan Spalding on behalf of Benton Rainey for a change in zoning from an agricultural district A to a planned development district PD in the city of Paris, block 351, lot PT of 8, 72.262 acres, city of Paris, block 352, lot 6, block 351, lot PT of 8, 91.627 acres, City of Paris, Block 351, Lot PT of 9, 19.2693 acres, located in the 3300 block of Jefferson Road. At our City Council meeting of July 25th, the public hearing was opened and continued to this meeting. Staff has requested this public hearing remain open and continue to the September 12th meeting, at which time we will hear this zoning case. The public hearing is continued to September 12th. Item number 14, conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of the Walnut Creek Business Park, Inc. for a comprehensive plan amendment from low-density residential, LDR, and commercial C to high-density residential, HDR, in the city of Paris, block 266, lot 3, located at 1335 Northeast 20th Street, LCAD 18332. Mr. Mack, do you have a presentation, please?
Thank you, Mayor and members of City Council. Before you this evening, you have a request for amendment from low-density residential and commercial to high-density residential at this location. Currently, the site of the Ballwhacker golf driving range on 20th. The Planning Commission has reviewed and conducted a public hearing on this, along with staff, is recommending update to the comprehensive plan, modifying the future land use map according to the agenda item for this particular project. Just kind of walking you through a little bit of the uses at this point. You'll see on the proposed site plan, we've got an access point here at approximately the current driveway entrance to the site. The second entrance would be just west of 20th at the intersection of MLK Drive into the site. Again, these would be private drives to support the proposed development of the site, which is anticipating upwards of 384 units. There would be 16 buildings with 24 units in each, all consisting of proposed 3 stories, approximately 8 units per story. And we're looking at an initial phase likely coming in off of the southern end, being the less challenging access points as compared to the loop access point, which is identified in this northerly location. So with that, we are looking at an overall estimated $50 million project for these 384 dwelling units, again proposed in 2 phases. The land use components, as shown in the proposed rezoning map, again, does not pick up the frontage properties. This would continue to be guided for commercial, and the adjacent properties to the west that would contain open space buffer strips to the adjoining single-family residences would also be open space and not proposed for changes in the future land use map. So again, we're looking at a variety of uses in this and an initial phase of multifamily development. With that, again, P&Z as well as the staff are recommending approval of this future land use map amendment.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing and ask that anyone who wishes to come forward and speak in support of or opposition to this item, please come forward now. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Council, is there any discussion or questions of staff?
I had a quick input on this. I was at that P&Z meeting and I didn't realize how big this project was. That's wonderful. We are in a shortage of housing. We could use some more houses, and obviously this isn't, single family, it's multifamily. That's still fine. We need housing. So this looks like a great project. The only concern I have, part of this area is floodway. Is that correct? Is there a FEMA floodplain somewhere on this?
Correct.
And that won't hinder their project in terms of putting up the building or anything?
That area has all been taken into account. The floodplain area is shown on this site plan diagram, and there would be no development in that area. Previously, there was a Lomar letter of map amendment clarifying the correct floodplain areas, and we believe that to be consistent with what's shown on the city's base map.
Would this be phased out, this project?
They're looking to do half and half.
Okay.
The answer is yes.
I think it's a great project to have in our community.
Was there any opposition about this at planning and zoning, or has the staff received any since then?
Since then, no. There were some concerns again about the project and proximity. I believe along the we had letters received from one property, 2 residents living in the same property, expressed concerns. There's a substantial buffer space, as you can see. Again, this is not part of the plan amendment or the rezoning, but we will deal with the site plan as once the rezoning's finished. We haven't approached the platting stage or any of the things of that nature, but this is their concept layout for the site development. And I believe any concerns are fully addressed. In the past, we had shown on the base map a future east-west thoroughfare extension of a roadway to from the east to the west. That's actually not part of the property, was never dedicated right-of-way or land owned as a right-of-way by the city. That was verified as a part of their deeds for the property. There is no right-of-way. It was just a forecast of future street improvements that would potentially express or create a concern of the adjoining single-family neighborhood if there was going to be through access from the north-south streets of 17th and I forget the name of the other street. But that's not part of the plan. The three access points would be the Loop, 20th, and then MLK Drive just to the west of that intersection.
Is this in Ms. Moore's district?
Yes.
Have you received any?
No, I haven't, but can you kind of clarify, you said you had a few concerns. What were the concerns? I mean, did I miss it? Did you say the concerns?
The concerns just had to do with the change of use from basically wide open space and a driving range to development, and that was the concern. I don't have the inputs in front of me right now, but essentially it was concern about higher density.
So,
That the P and Z did take that into account, and they felt that it would be able to be addressed through, open space and transitional open space buffer yard areas.
how much buffer space is between there? Between the access road and the back of the residence on 17th, how much buffer space is
Where I'm
supposed to be
showing my
there?
arrow right now, it's the low area. There's a channel and a creek here.
Yeah, but
Distance-wise,
yeah,
I would estimate 200 to 300 feet.
between
To
the
the west.
roadway and the back property, not the houses, but the property of the people living on 17th, the east side of 17th.
I would estimate 200 to 300 feet between what would become a fire lane on the east side of the creek over to the rear of the properties on 17th.
I know this is 2-story, 3-story, what?
That's- yeah.
Proposed as 3-story.
So,
That could change to 2-story. This is just conceptual. They haven't got to that level of detail with architecture yet.
I'm sure I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm sure they're going to be, the residents on 17th are going to be concerned about the privacy of you having a 3-story, whether it be balcony or window overlooking their backyards. Does that make any sense?
And perhaps that's the reason for the inputs in opposition from one property.
How does this compare with the, pardon me, the other apartment complex that's adjacent to this, kind of
Like
across the
Greenbrier.
street and down, the
Greenbrier
Greenbrier?
side.
Yeah, because, I kind of thought the Greenbrier was out of place. But it kind of has turned into sort of a nice little apartment for, a nice big apartment complex for that area. And it looks nice as well. So I just wondered, how does it compare number-wise as far as apartments go? Do you know offhand?
This is, I believe, approximately,
It's 300 feet from the edge of the floodplain over to the back of the nearest house on 17th.
that's a substantial distance.
And then add the parking lot, and then however wide that was, and then the building.
I was just wondering as far as what the size would look like.
In terms of numbers, density,
sir.
I think it's roughly, this might be close to 25% more,
Okay, gotcha.
roughly.
Okay.
They're proposing total of 16 buildings. Currently, Greenbrier has 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings up, plus the community room. So, and we have no indication of future, but I will say in terms of your original question, the comparison between distance between residents and single family, this is substantially more open space between versus Greenbrier, which is much closer
Closer,
in
okay.
proximity. Plus, there is some topography You know, some of those single-family homes to the east of Greenbrier are lower, and these 3 stories tower up, so that's a legitimate concern. I don't see that happening with this development. There's much more space.
I agree. I mean, and on that Greenbrier, you bring up a very good point. I mean, that,
Very close.
to be honest, it's very close to people on that 20th Street. And we've had a lot of complaints from residents in that area, but this, I could see this being manageable, seeing 300 feet or so approximately. That's a lot of space. I mean,
And it's not all just three-story apartments
Yeah.
either, because if you read the description too, some of them are going to be houses, some are going to be 2 stories, some of them are going to be big, tall, 3 stories as well. So it looks like it's going to be kind of a mixture of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
There's your roughly 275 feet before the frontage, the fire lane on the outside of the buildings.
Quite a bit.
And then can you show me again where the 2 exits are going to be before you get to the loop? I know where that would be, kind of.
Okay, the one will be approximately this location, approximately here, and the other would be in about this area, right here.
So would that house be
That's the. I think
Deconstructed, or-
That's the
Ball
whacker.
whacker.
That's the
House.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Something,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm thinking of the other house down the road. I apologize. Got you.
Another way of thinking about it too is for the distance there, just on the conceptual drawing there, the nearest apartment complex would be about a city block distance away from those back of those houses there. 300 to 400 feet is about a city block there, so it's about a good city block or more away from the back of those properties. That's back the property, let alone the house.
Would the builder or whoever owns that land in the buffer space, would they be able to build on the west side of that lane, the west side of that drive-through? Right behind the houses in that 300 feet or 200 feet or whatever we're talking about, would they be able to build on the west side of it, adjacent to apartments?
Under this concept site plan, there's no access to it, and they're not proposing to change the zoning, so it would remain according to the current zoning, which I can show you again here.
I thought there would be a road that went to the west side of the property where they're building the apartments.
This is all single-family
There's no
residential
way. They
zoning.
Yeah.
So they're not proposing to change this,
Yeah.
just the commercial.
There was a conceptual drawing for a road through there from our old Cindy Mass, but that's not part of this project. We're getting rid of that road, which was predating this project here. We did through our thoroughfare plan, showed a road going through there, but that's not part of this project.
Okay.
Yeah, the accesses will be in the north of the loop and the south from MLK and 20th.
And actually, this never even made it on the thoroughfare plan. It just got put on the base map for some reason, we don't know why. And again, like I said, it was verified that it was not part of the deed for the property.
Any further questions or discussion? I'll hear a motion.
I move that we approve a minor comprehensive plan amendment, amending the future land use map from low-density residential and commercial to high-density residential.
And a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 15, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of the Walnut Creek Business Park, Inc. for a change in zoning from a one-family dwelling District Number 3, SF3, and Commercial District C to a multiple family dwelling District Number 2, MF2, in the City of Paris, Block 266, Lot 3, and the adjacent 60-foot strip of land running between the Wilshire Addition on the west and the Ella K Addition on the east, located at 1335 Northeast 20th Street, LCAD 18332. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. This is the actual zoning change enabling the project to move forward. Again, we want a zone consistent with the comprehensive plan. This plan amendment that council has just approved allows this to proceed in accordance with that policy or that proper planning methodology. The zoning change does actually pick up some of the SF3 property and the commercial zoning and changes it to MF2. Again, we are talking about 16 buildings with up to 24 units each. Again, whether it's 3-story or 2-story is still undetermined. This is their preliminary plans. Again, there's no architectural. They may decide based on their pro formas that they will build it at a 2-story instead of 3. That's yet to be determined. But this zoning change allows it to move forward. Staff, in review of this, along with the Planning and Zoning Commission, are recommending that the City Council approve this change this evening.
Okay, just the green area is where the zoning change is, correct?
Correct.
And
This-
that dotted line is,
they-
those owners, property owners were notified.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? I'll now open the public hearing and ask that anyone who wishes to come forward and speak in support or opposition of this item, please come now and state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Any further questions?
I know when you have the planning and zoning meetings and things, everybody that's opposing something don't always show up to the planning and zoning meetings, but people do have complaints. I just wish that if people had complaints about this, any reservations, that more people would get up and speak up, even here at the public hearing. Then, if there was any complaints, any opposition, we would have more to go on, but seeing that none did.
We'll also indicate, Councilmember Savage, that the public hearing did not have the benefit of seeing this concept site plan. This was received after the P&Z public hearing. And so I think, had they seen this, they might have been a little bit more allayed with any concern that they
Yeah.
may have had.
Can I ask why, if we're having the zoning meetings, shouldn't we have these plans so people would know what they're basing their complaints on?
They were still developing it. In fact, it's not a requirement for a zoning change to show what the site layout is.
Yeah, I get that, but it might help.
True. Yeah, we try to do that when we have the information. We certainly provide it, and in this case, I did request that they send their updated plan once they completed it.
Any further discussion? I'll hear a motion.
I move that we approve the rezoning of this property from one-family dwelling district number 3 and commercial district to multifamily dwelling district number 2.
Is there a second, please?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 16, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of Cola Residential Investments and Lydia Fitzgerald on behalf of Bart Chadwick for a comprehensive plan amendment from retail R to high-density residential HDR in the A786R Russell Survey Tract 25-1-A, acres 3.839, Route 1, located in the 2800 block of Stillhouse Road, LCAD 404759. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. This evening, again, a good methodology, proper planning procedure to update the land use map before we make the zoning changes. I've been instituting this over the last 2 years. And again, we have a proposal to develop duplexes on this site that would constitute somewhere between a medium to high-density residential. What we have to the east is certainly considered higher density residential, and so hence the change from retail, which was adopted as a part of the plan update. Quite frankly, it doesn't make a lot of sense in this location. However, the high density residential does. We have a school across the street, elementary school, and we also have a medical facility. I would suspect that this will likely be well marketed to empty nesters, folks looking for, one-level living. That's kind of the plan expressed to us at this point in time. So based on this, based on current land use and location, we, staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission are recommending an update to the future land use map for this site from retail to high-density residential.
All right, I will now open the public hearing and ask that anyone who wishes to come forward and speak in support or in opposition of this item, please state your name and address for the record. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Any questions of Mr. Mack?
No, I think this really makes sense for that area.
Except for the condition of the street and the width of it, your backup suggested there's some plan in the future. How far down?
This road is on our master thoroughfare plan as an arterial roadway. Over time, at some point in the future, it needs to have substantial upgrade to it. I would suggest that we have a long list of streets in need of upgrade. As development dictates, I would suggest that this would be the right timing as we continue to densify the roadway. It will produce increasing pressure on upgrade to the road based upon density, but also based upon the ability to increase our tax base and address these types of issues at that time. There will be certainly additional right-of-way dedicated as needed. We get that at the plating point. But at least in terms of this, we're getting to about the point where something is going to need to be done. I'm not suggesting that this development trips the trigger, but at some point that's a very important consideration that we will address, I suspect, in the near term.
I'm surprised at the time the schools were built that wasn't made like we're doing now, a joint project between the school district and the city, because if you've tried to get to one of those nursing homes at 8 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's a challenge.
Well, even school buses going down that road
yes.
is very, I went to school at these schools, and my mother got into a wreck whenever I was a little boy on that street. So I just, I appreciate the fact that you're saying that, hey, this is something that we want to look into. I say, let's continue to look into that. And you know, for the greater good of that property, not just that property, but those schools and the safety of those children, we should definitely look into that road. And I know TxDOT's working down that area, but if we can do a tie-in onto Stillhouse, boy, that would be awesome.
It certainly was extensively discussed as a part of the North Lamar project with the Collector Street at some point intersecting somewhere along this road in this approximate location. So I appreciate the fact our Public Works Director is here this evening. I'm sure he's made note of this need and is already fully aware of those concerns as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve a minor comprehensive plan amendment amending the future land use map from retail to high-density residential.
And a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 17, discuss, conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of Cola Residential Investments and Lydia Fitzgerald on behalf of Bart Chadwick for a change in zoning from an agricultural district A to a multiple family district number 2, MF2, in the A786R Russell Survey, tract 25-1A, 3.839 acres, Route 1, located in the 2800 block of Stillhouse Road, LCAD 4044759. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. Now, consistent with your update of the future land use map, the zoning change will accommodate the proposed residential development. There's still some discernment at this point whether they will be created on individual lots or it will be multiple structures on just one single lot. But in the meantime, this zoning change, now consistent with the comp plan, is appropriate for change, and the Planning and Zoning Commission at their public hearing along with staff are recommending approval of this zoning change this evening.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing and ask that anyone who wishes to come forward and speak in support or opposition do so at this time. Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Any discussion or questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Motion that we pass item 17 is written.
Thank you. A second. And all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 18, discuss, conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of Mark Cunningham for a comprehensive plan amendment from low-density residential, LDR, to medium-density residential, MDR, in the City of Paris, Block 317, Lot 2-E, A524J Leach Survey, 2.77 acres, 3400 block, Northeast Loop 286, LCAD 111362. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of City Council. This evening, you have a request again for amendment to the future land use map. You see the subject property shown here in red. It is surrounded by high-density apartments to the north, medium-density row townhomes to the south. We've got commercial development to the west, and the hope of, at some point in the future, additional residential low-density development to the east. This amendment to upgrade to the future land use map makes perfect sense. It's harmonious with the layout of the area, and based upon the planning and zoning recommendation as well as that of staff, we are recommending your approval of this amendment from low-density residential to medium-density residential this evening.
I will now open the public hearing and ask anyone who wishes to come forward and speak in support or opposition, please do so. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Any discussion or questions? I go this way a lot. My one question is, can Ruby Lane handle a lot more traffic?
Mayor, that's an excellent question. We have taken a close look at this. We are entertaining pre-development discussions on the land to the east. When Pine Ridge Apartments were platted, the right-of-way was platted and dedicated to the public fully to the east of this boundary line. It's a 50-foot road right-of-way. Based upon that, the developer, Mr. Cunningham, is carefully considering his options as to how to best utilize Ruby Lane as an extension versus just jumping in off of a dead-end roadway into the development. So we think there's an opportunity to create, how shall I say, a shared cost of developer improvements of this roadway between this land to the south, Mr. Cunningham, as well as Mr. Homer's land to the east. Those discussions, I believe, will be underway. The concept plan for the land to the east does afford extension of this roadway into that development to create multiple access points off of different roadways. The other thing I would like to indicate as well, in support of this zoning change and update of the land use map, we will have the opportunity to interconnect water utility lines. And we have some areas of dead end that don't have duplication and redundancy in the utility lines in this area. And this is something that will be connected between Castlegate and the water line that comes in off the loop on Ruby Lane. So we see that as a very big plus for improvement of fire protection for this area.
Very good. That helps our iOS, doesn't it? How many units will be there?
Initially, it was proposed for, I believe it was 12 duplexes, or no, excuse me, 8. So I would recommend, anticipated somewhere between 8 and potentially 15, 16, just depends on the site layout.
Okay. Any further questions? I'll hear a motion.
I move that we approve a minor comprehensive plan amendment amending the future land use map from low-density residential to medium-density residential.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 19, Discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of Mark Cunningham for a change in zoning from a commercial District C to a multiple family dwelling District Number 1, MF1, in the City of Paris, Block 317, Lot 2E, A524J Leach Survey, 2.77 acres, 3400 block Northeast Loop 286, LCAD 111326. Mr. Mack.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, this evening, this zoning change will be in accordance with the amendment you just approved for the future land use map. This does provide for additional needed housing. The density is a good fit for this location, and it makes for a nice transition again from commercial along the loop to higher density to the north to this, which would have a land use capacity of medium density twin homes or duplexes, and then we have the row townhomes at a medium density level of development to the south. And so with that, the staff as well as the Planning and Zoning Commission during their public hearing have recommended approval of the zoning change this evening to the City Council.
Thank you. I'll now open the public hearing and plead that someone wishes to come forward and speak in support or opposition of this item. No? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any discussion or questions?
No, ma'am.
Seeing none, I'll hear a motion.
I move that we approve the rezoning of this property from commercial to MF1.
Thank you. Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 20, discuss, conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of Mark Cunningham on behalf of Gen Mall Properties LLC for a change in zoning from a light industrial district LI to a multiple family dwelling district 1 MF1 in the City of Paris, Block 317, Lot 3-D, 0.98 acres, 3601 through 3631 Castlegate Drive, LC AD 125492. Mr. Mack.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem, members of City Council. This evening, the request from Mr. Cunningham is to zone in accordance with the current land use. Quite frankly, I have no idea why it's zoned light industrial, but we're fixing it with this action, and staff as well as the Planning and Zoning Commission would recommend your approval this evening.
All right, I'll now open the public hearing and ask that anyone who wishes to come forward and speak in support or opposition, please do so. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Any questions?
God, just out of curiosity, was this just a cleanup? Like, did you catch this? Was it Mr. Cunningham? How did this come about?
I caught this and begged that he include an application to change this zoning, and he was happy to do so.
I just found it to be really interesting.
So as to not leave his property as a legal non-conforming use or whatever the status of it is, it didn't make any sense, and he was quick to agree.
I'm glad for the housekeeping.
All right, no more comments. I'll hear a motion.
Make a motion to change zoning on item number 20 from light industrial to multifamily as written.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 21, discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of Mark Cunningham for a change in zoning from a light industrial district LI to a multiple family dwelling district number 1 MF1 in the City of Paris, Block 317, Lot 3-5F, 0.55 acres, 3610 through 3614 Castlegate Drive, LCAD 103107. Mr. Mack.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, the exact same housekeeping item here this evening. It's a triplex, currently built, currently non-conforming use. Mr. Cunningham solicited, was happy to submit the application, and we will hopefully make the housekeeping change and remove the light industrial designation to MF1. And P&Z and the staff recommend your approval this evening.
Thank you. The public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to comment or come forward and speak for or against this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Comments or discussion? I'll hear a motion.
I move that we approve the rezoning of this property from light industrial district to multifamily dwelling district 1.
A second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. It's a shame nothing's going on in Paris. Item number 22, discuss, conduct a public hearing and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of the Red River Business Park LLC for a change in zoning from an agricultural district A to a commercial district C in the city of Paris, block 344, lot 10, located at 5501 Bonham Street, LCAD 110758. Mr. Mack?
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of City Council. Red River Business Park, represented this evening by Dale, Mr. Smith, is proposing development just outside the city limits to the south of this property. And the access into the site and potential future development opportunities beg the change from agricultural to commercial. It's currently guided that way for commercial development along this stretch. It was annexed over time. The access to the site will be off of Bonham Avenue, US 82. There is no immediate plans for development along the portion within the city limits, but because of the access, because of the needs for signage, for commercial development, and for various other reasons, the change is necessary to afford the development to the south, outside the city limits. There was some expressed opposition to this. I think some of this had to do with the nature of annexed land along the stretch in the past. But I think it had more to do with that and other utility concerns than it had to do with necessarily with the land use incompatibility. There will be quite a transition of space between this area and the land to the south that is anticipated for the mini storage project. This has been reviewed and recommended for approval this evening by the Planning and Zoning Commission and the city staff from agricultural district this evening to commercial at this location west on 5501 Bonham Street.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak?
And I would please invite Mr. Smith to come up and meet the city council.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Smith.
Hi, how are y'all?
Great, glad to see somebody.
I don't really know what I have to say, but we're excited to have this development going on in Paris and excited to be up here. And it's been interesting to watch all of the different things being done in the city, and it's very exciting to be a part of it. So my family and I have been up in the area for 18 years, and my son actually graduated from the North Lamar High School and went on to OSU, and he's there and doing great. So we're excited. So.
Well, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Thank you. So
All right.
any questions y'all have or any, I really don't have a whole lot to say. I apologize. Thanks for putting me on the spot. But I am happy to be here. I really am. So I look forward and hopefully doing more development in the city and doing more with y'all. So,
We look forward to that.
all right.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? I'll declare the public hearing now closed. Any discussion or questions? I'll hear a motion.
I move that we approve the rezoning from commercial to MF1.
Second.
I think it's from agriculture
ag to
to
commercial.
commercial.
Oh, ag to commercial, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I wrote that down wrong.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 23, Discuss, conduct a public hearing, and act on an ordinance regarding the petition of Alan Knoll, Javelin Group LLC, on behalf of the trustees of Wayne O. Chambliss and Inella L. Chambliss Revocable Living Trust for a change in zoning from an agricultural district A to a planned development district, PD, in the city of Paris, Block 315, part of LCAD parcel 50949 and 50931, ending 961.45 feet north of the southwest property line of parcel 5093, totaling 12.06 acres located in the 4400 block of Lamar Avenue. Mr. Mack.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and members of City Council. This evening, I will bring your memory back to the beginning of the year, where the city adopted a resolution in support of this housing tax credit project that was sent to the state of Texas, and that body has now approved the tax credit project for this senior housing project. Just to give you a reorientation again of what is being requested here, the developer has land to the north that is under contract, but is not a part of the zoning request this evening. What is a part of the zoning request is the change along the front for planned development, which would be commercial land uses, commercial retail, roadway coming in, and then basically high-density residential. So all incorporated into a planned development district, which was the best flexibility tool that we had, and the developer has agreed with staff and has requested this change. The Planning and Zoning Commission conducted a public hearing on this change back in July. The reason for this is there is a shot clock from the state to the developer to be able to perform by having the zoning in place as they enter into a commitment agreement for this project to move forward. Based on the timeline from the date of notification versus the amount of time it takes us to go through 2 months of hearing process. This was initially started at the Planning and Zoning Commission. They have recommended approval of this evening, as does the city staff. During that public hearing back in July, we had a number of residents expressing concern with regard to this project. I believe there's some history of this site that involved some very extremely high-density apartment development. The City Council did not approve it at that time based on those concerns. However, this is a different project with a different layout, with I think a much better level of expectation in terms of achieving compatible development, if I may say so, with regard to the single-family residences to the west and also to the east. This change, basically, the way I understand it, it's more or less a gated community. There will be elderly in here that are in need of affordable housing. There is a requirement at the state as a part of the tax credit project that they meet a certain percentage of market rate levels for rents. So it's, as far as I understand, this is all single-story development in multiple pods. This, again, is the concept layout of the site. It may involve, a gated entrance with the one-way in and one-way out type gates, or all at once. We're not sure how that will work yet. One of the reasons we had concerns expressed from this rezoning is that based upon the original description, we provided a notification list that included a 200-foot buffer from the area that's not proposed for any change in zoning. As a result of the second round of notices that were sent out, normally we'd publish once. Out of cost efficiencies, we publish both meeting dates. In this case, we published one meeting date for planning and zoning, and then the developer covered the cost of the additional publication as a part of the second round that is now before the City Council this evening. And as a result of that second mail out, we received no additional comments because most of the the comments that were received. We're no longer a part of the notification list, certainly to the north. The area to the west, we're notified, but no additional concerns, again, as I mentioned. And so, again, with this, the planning and zoning from back in July, as well as the city staff, recommending approval of this zoning change. This is a needed development within our community, and we certainly look forward to the approval of this project moving forward to help better support our housing needs here in Paris. So with that, I will conclude, and again, we are recommending approval this evening. And the developer is here with a presentation.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing and ask anyone wishing to come forward and speak in support or opposition of this item, do so. Mr. Knoll?
Hello.
We've got to quit meeting like this.
Okay, perfect. I'll try and figure it out. Well, thank you so much. And as I told the mayor when I first met her, Paris is really special to me. My grandfather was a Baptist minister here for about 50 years. So ever since I can remember, I was a little kid. I spent a lot of time in the summers in Paris. I've driven around a lot today, and I went by his old house. They're both buried at the cemetery, my grandmother and grandfather. So I've lived in Dallas my whole life. Our business is mainly in the nursing home business. When we saw what was happening with COVID, especially to seniors, we just felt like we really needed to reach out and try and help. As you guys know, with all the prices going up on gasoline and phones, everything you can imagine, that what's not going up is the income for seniors. So my mom's a retired public school teacher. Their pensions haven't gone up in years and years. So we have a lot of great seniors. Like my granddad never made any money, never cared about it. He wanted to help people. Anyway, so we're really excited about this. This is the first one of these affordable deals we've done. Everything we've done has been with an eye towards doing it well and doing something we could be proud of. And we're really excited about this. I think it's the perfect location. It's really close to doctor's offices. It's right by Walmart. Let's see if I can make my little deal. Here we go. And as Andrew said, we've got almost 20 acres under contract. It's owned by some elderly folks who grew up here and now they're in California. So we really, if we could, we just buy the front part. We don't have any plans for the back part. We're going to keep it zoned ag. And talking to Andrew, I think it could be a great single-family site one of these days. As he said at the planning zoning meeting, I don't think anybody had any issues with our project. Most people were worried about, well, how close are the houses going to be to our house? And we're not proposing any of that. We're not home builders. So the layout, whoops, wrong button. There we go. So you could see the three components. Our real estate broker is right across the street from us. He's fielded a lot of interest in the commercial lots over the years, but the elderly folks they had to sell all or nothing. So it gives us the ability to carve off some nice pad sites for retail or restaurants or doctor's offices, which would be great for our seniors. They care about security and safety and all the things that we all care about. So I don't see it's going to generate any traffic to speak of. They don't really drive during rush hour much at all. This will give you a sense. So we've partnered with one of the country's biggest, best affordable housing firms. So we've made a deal with them. They're going to be the contractor and they're going to be the property manager. This is one of their projects that they did that's near Waco that
I think is a very good example of what we're talking about doing here. It's like Andrew said, it's all single story. There we go. And we're finalizing the design. We're along the creek, so we've got some detention that we've got to deal with, and we've got a lot of things. We were trying to buy an additional parcel next door from the woman who owns land to the left, but she's been stuck out of the country, and it's sort of a long story. But we'll have great amenities, and we'll have a clubhouse where they can go visit and eat meals together if they want. We don't have a commercial kitchen, so every apartment has its own full kitchen, and they're just little small houses. The rents are very affordable. They're tied to the county income, so they'll always be a certain ratio. They're much more affordable here than they are in other counties with higher incomes, but it's a great fit for the folks. These normally lease up way before the property is even finished. There's such a demand. The market study showed a demand for about 4 times the units we're building. We're building 76 units. So anyway, that's my deal, and sorry for getting a little emotional, but just really looking forward to this. So anyway, any questions you guys have, I'm happy to answer them.
I don't have any questions. I think this looks like a great project, and I could tell you're pretty passionate about it. We need more passion. We've already got great passion in our community. We need more. So I commend you on that. I was very curious about this. I had asked, this has been my first year on council, and we had received some mail from someone. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
And I was wondering, what was this? I know we had asked, some of us we had talked about it. And I
Yes.
said, this is amazing. Very neat project.
Well, and the funny part is, so we deal with a lot of bureaucracy because we're in the nursing home business. But the way this is funded is one of the, there aren't many things that people agree on in Washington these days, but this is one of the few things. It's a public-private partnership. It's not subsidized in a direct way by the government at all, but it's heavily incentivized through offering tax credits to big corporations to invest in these and invest in the community. So it works great. It's been in place since 1986, and it's one of the few things that gets bipartisan support every year because it's doing things one group wants, and it's keeping the government out like another group wants. So it's kind of it works really well, but it's very, very complicated, and I apologize. We have to send letters to each person and every person on the school board, and if you forget to send one and you don't do it just right, then you get knocked out of the program. So we're really lucky. This is the first year we've done it. We actually got 2 awards this year, one here and one in Tyler. And I spent a lot of time today here looking for some sites for next year because I think it's very complicated, but again, I like Paris a lot, so we'd love to do more here if we can. So
I think some of the opposition was that it was senior living, and being the oldest person in this room, I think I'm a good neighbor. I'm very quiet, don't have a lot of parties. So, and this is in my district, and I'm very supportive of it.
great.
And I guess, obviously, you'll build the senior living first and then fill in with the commercial,
Yes.
because
Well,
a
and
lot of construction traffic.
Yes, well, one of the things, and Andrew's been super helpful, your whole staff is great here and very efficient and very pro-business, and it's a great breath of fresh air, I tell you.
Well, can you
I
say
don't
that
get
again?
that many places.
Can we record
We know
that?
that, we just wish everybody did.
Well, one of the other things we're excited about is I visited with the folks who own the corner to the east of us. I don't know if I can point, but just to the right side of the right-hand commercial, there's another big chunk of land there, and there's a developer based in Dallas who's been looking at that to do more of the retail cluster. So we've talked to them as well. What works best for retail and office and commercial is to get enough critical mass. Right now, there's a really old It's called a worn-out water main that's not even owned by the city. We're in the city limits, but I guess it's the edge of the city that was originally not in the city, so it's still in the county rural water district with an old pipe made of asbestos. So we're working with the staff on a way to extend the water to get onto the City of Paris water system, and I think that could also generate some more action with some more commercial, which again, I think our folks would be great amenities for them. They're good consumers for doctors and restaurants and all kinds of things. So I think it'll help get that moving. But we don't have any plans right now for the commercial. But as soon as we get started, we'll start marketing it. And our broker's he's gotten a lot of offers over the years. The current owner just wouldn't sell anything less than 19 acres, and Whataburger or whoever, they only want to buy what they want to buy, so.
All right. Any questions, more questions of Mr. Knoll?
No, I'm excited about the project, sir.
Great.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? I'll close the public hearing. Any discussion or questions or comments?
Mayor Pro Tem, members of council, I did want to conclude the presentation with, again, the staff recommendation for approval. Based on the fact that this is a planned development, we have the ability, due to the planned development zoning component, to recommend approval conditions, which we have 3 approval conditions that I'd like to just quickly touch on those. First is that all additional required permits and plat approvals shall be obtained, which is a requirement for any building permits. Because this is a multi-governmental project, I don't normally put a catch-all in here, but I included this time that the business owner shall comply with all required federal, state, and local laws. And thirdly, in response to some of the input that we received, again, from some of the residents along here and on Sunrise Drive to the north, there was concerns about any potential clear cutting of land to the north. We do have a power line easement that runs through here with about 100-foot swath of clear cut. There was concerns about any further clear cutting that may occur as a part of this project, which again, you heard the developer say tonight that there's no plans of any sort for development to the north. There is no change as a part of your action tonight, changing from ag to any other district. It will remain agricultural. And so, but in terms of the clear cutting, we felt that it was appropriate to include a recommendation that there shall be no clear cutting of any mature trees and vegetation upon the planned development rezoned property or the non-rezoned ag property for future single-family residential under the same ownership by the applicant, unless a tree removal and landscape buffering plan is first approved by the Director of Planning and Community Development. And again, with those 3 conditions, we are recommending your approval this evening.
Thank you.
May I ask a question, please?
Sure.
To the developer, with the residents of this development who are on Medicaid and Medicare and things like that, would they be able to keep those, keep Medicaid and Medicare or anything like that, or would that affect their?
The 2 things are independent. So the requirements for our the way that the way the pricing works is we have a certain number of units at different ratios to the county income. So we have a few that are our least expensive, and in order to qualify for those, you have to earn within a certain bracket depending on your family size and different things. And then it goes up. So it doesn't affect anybody's Medicaid or Medicare. They do go through, every resident goes through screening. As Andrew mentioned, it's age restricted, so it's everyone who lives there has to be over 55. Mm-hmm. That sounded really old a few years ago. Now it sounds really young. So I'm thinking, no, those are young whippersnappers. But anyway, but it doesn't have any effect on that. And since we're in the nursing home business, we deal with Medicare and Medicaid every day, and that gets very convoluted. But this doesn't affect that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sure.
My apologies for asking that late. I just.
Okay. All right. No more discussion. I'll hear a motion.
I move that we approve the change in zoning from an agricultural district to a planned development district, subject to the conditions that were stated previously.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 24. At the Andrew Mack Show will return next month. Discuss and act on amendment number 2 to the agreement for professional services with Garver for engineering of the wastewater treatment plant project. With this amendment, the total contract fee is not to exceed $8,836,142.52. Mr. Harris, please.
Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, bring forward to you tonight contract amendment number 2 with Garver for the wastewater treatment plant project. After much discussion with management and staff, we realized the importance for specialized inspection services to make sure this project gets built correctly, and that is the major component of amendment number 2, with the addition of SCADA programming services as well. Those are all itemized in both my briefing memo and in the scope of services amendment. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have about this item.
I feel like this is really important that the inspections be done. I know we can look back on some street projects that maybe if we, our staff has full-time jobs, so they don't have time to, or maybe the expertise to do inspections.
I'm a firm believer in spending money properly and safely. You don't want to go back, there's only one shot.
Yes, sir.
And in a project like this, you only get one shot. So
Absolutely.
I'm all in.
All right.
I think it's a no-brainer. I think, I mean, the mass scope of the project could be $20, $30, $40 million mistake if we don't have the right, I mean, it's.
Yeah, let's do it right. Any other?
From my engineering background, I'm full support of it, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, no further discussion. I'll hear a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment to the agreement for professional services with Garver in the amount of $2,195,503.52 for construction administration, construction observation, and SCADA programming.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Item number 25, discuss and act on an ordinance allowing employees of the fire department to participate in the Texas Municipal Retirement System, TMRS, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict and providing an effective date. Mr. Path.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of City Council, this is part 2 of a 2-part process for the transition of our fire employees from the existing fire pension to the TMRS system. As you recall, last meeting at August 8th, you approved a resolution for a bond agreement, a resolution for an agreement with the Board of Trustees, and an ordinance to pass the pension bond. The next step tonight is to pass an ordinance that removes the exclusion of fire employees from going to TMRS. And so with that, with the approval tonight, they will be able to start TMRS October 1st, and we've already budgeted for this. This will be a great change for our community. So I'll take any questions you have.
I'm excited about it.
It is a great thing for our community and our fire department. I'll hear a motion.
Make a motion to approve the ordinance to authorize fire department to participation in TMRS.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you and congratulations, Chief. Item number 26, discuss and provide direction on any necessary edits to the proposed budget for fiscal year 2022-2023. Mr. Path.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of City Council, this is a preamble to the next items. As you recall, we've met on August 8th and August 11th to discuss the proposed fiscal year 22-23 budget. I submitted it to you back on July 28th. We had a lot of great discussion, a lot of questions. I hope we've answered your questions to date. But this item here is meant to, if there's any more questions, more things to cover, any edits, things we wish to change. If not, the next items are designed to initiate the required public hearing notices for September. If there are edits, I may have to request a short recess so we can adjust anything in the next items so we can stay on track. But otherwise, this is just meant to be your time to be able to ask questions or any thoughts you have on the proposed budget before we proceed to the hearing step.
I don't have any questions.
Any questions? I have just one, that for items that have been budgeted, I know we can't spend the money till October 1st, but for instance, the housing study and the asbestos study on the Grand Theater, can you go ahead, you kind of have in mind the consultants you're going to use, can you schedule them for as soon as possible after October 1st?
Absolutely, yes. There are certain things that we're able to get started on. I mean, I was kind of waiting till after this meeting to see, because I wanted to get kind of a consensus. I view this as a consensus. If you're good with the budget, we can proceed. Now, obviously, there's always September that it could change. So I would give these consultants the notice that we're not quite done yet, but I would like to get started on a few items in the budget. We would actually not spend any money until October 1st.
Sure.
But we probably wouldn't sign any contracts until after we get the budget passed.
Yeah.
But we at least get the contracts negotiated and the process started so that as soon as the final approval is done, I have a contract ready to go to get started.
Now, sometimes their schedules are, we have to work with them to get on their calendar too. Any changes? All right. If there are no changes, we'll move to the next items calling for public hearings. Item number 27, discuss and act on a resolution calling a public hearing on the proposed budget for fiscal year 2022-2023. Mr. Anderson.
Mayor Pro Tem, and Council, a public hearing on the proposed budgets required under the city charter and the local government code. So what we're asking council tonight is to approve a resolution calling for that public hearing on the budget to be held on September the 12th of this year.
All right, thank you. Any questions of Mr. Anderson?
The 12th, and then we would have the 13th would be the meeting, next day meeting, right?
Yes, if you approve the budget on the 12th, you'd have to come back and approve the tax rate on the 13th. You can't do those at the same meeting.
Okay, I'll hear a motion.
So moved.
Oh, go ahead.
And a second. All right, all those opposed, in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 28, discuss and act on a resolution calling a public hearing on the proposed tax rate for fiscal year 2022-2023.
And this is just kind of a continuation of this process. A public hearing has to be held on the proposed tax rate. That's required in the Texas Tax Code. And so what you're asking to do tonight is to call a public hearing on the tax rate, proposed tax rate, also on September the 12th, which is your next meeting.
All right, all in favor? Oh, I'll hear a motion.
Motion to pass item 28 as written.
Thank you, Mr. Savage. A second? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 29, discuss and act in support of the proposed tax rate prior to the public hearing on the same.
This next one's kind of one of the oddities of Senate Bill 2, but the notice of the public hearing on the tax increase has to be one of 7 possible formats or 7 possibilities. And depending on where you're setting your tax rate, where the no new revenue tax rate is and where the voter approval tax rate is. But depending on where our proposed rate fits on that, we actually have to use Form 5876 for our particular tax notice. And so we're asking the council to take, one of the things that's required under that form is that the council take a record vote on their support or non-support for the proposed tax rate, because that has to be included in the notice when we publish it. It's not obligating the council. It's not setting the tax rate. It's not going to keep you from changing your mind and voting differently when we get down to actually voting on the tax rate. But it's just required so I can put that information in the notice.
Just to make sure our tax rate is actually our tax rate's going down, our tax levies, or the amount of dollars we're taking from property taxes is staying the same as last year, correct?
Our tax rate is going down. The O&M portion of the rate is down. The debt portion of the rate's going up because of the pension bonds that we just issued.
So the actual total tax levy is not,
You're actually going to have, the total tax levy is actually going to be up because of the bonded debt.
It was the M&O portion that stays the same flat.
That's what I thought.
Yes,
Okay.
the debt side goes up because the pension bond, the M&O remains at $8,030,000.
gotcha.
Right,
I make a motion to support the proposed tax rate.
thank you. Second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Item number 30, discuss and act on a resolution amending the board policy to include a deadline for receiving applications for boards and commissions. The reason I put this on the agenda is that when an application comes in at the last minute, staff has certain procedures they have to do. They have to verify that the applicant is a registered voter. They have to make copies of that and get it sent to all the council members. Now, most council members who work may not have time during that work day before coming straight to council in order to look at that application. So I'm recommending that there be a week prior to the council meeting where those boards and commissions are appointed, before the application can be accepted, at least a week. And whether that's on the regular meeting in June where that's done, or sometimes we have resignations and have to appoint somebody, or we re-advertise. Any discussion? Or staff, you have anything to add? Thank you. All right.
So the amendment is for, and I'm reading it, is to be completed, turned in by 5 p.m. on the third Monday of June?
Yes,
Is that-
or
is-
1 week prior to the meeting any meeting where we're appointing boards and commissions.
Mhm.
There's a little confusion about how I drafted the resolution and what the proposed language in your policies are, because typically, you know, if you're going to re-advertise or you got to advertise because you got a vacancy, you've got a couple of weeks lead time anyway. So the way I drafted it was for it to be due the third Monday of June, because we're going to do appointments in June, or the third Monday of any month in which appointments are going to be made. You can make the appointments in that second meeting. And the reason I did that is so that when the clerk goes to publish that in the newspaper, she always has a date certain to put in the newspaper, so there's no confusion over what day it is for the members of the public.
But we meet on the third Monday. So you're saying
We
1 week?
meet on the fourth Monday.
On the fourth Monday, okay. But it's due on the third Monday?
Correct.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
That effectively gives it a 1 week
Yeah.
ahead of time, so.
Appreciate you for clearing that up.
And I think it's a good policy also, because many times I find, we want to try to reach out to some of these applicants to kind of feel them out, see what their temperature is on what they're applying for. And so that gives a good amount of time to be able to do our research, for them to do their research. And I think that gives them a good amount of time.
Well, and our staff is our best resource. That particular Monday, where 4 staff members usually are available to cover the front office in the annex, that day due to illness or other plans, only 2 of those staff members were present, so stretched rather thin.
Well, and the main thing it does is it eliminates the confusion that we had, a couple of weeks or so ago. So that's the main thing. So it's nailed down, and then we don't have to worry about that.
All right, any other discussion? I'll hear a motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
A second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Item number 31, receive a report from the Evaluation Committee, review evaluation instruments, and select dates to evaluate the city council employees. Mr. Councilman
Yes.
Penkosh?
So I know that we've been trying to figure out how to get these evaluations done, and I think we're ready. So with all due respect to the city manager, the city attorney, and the municipal judge, we want to have a good evaluation that's going to be fair for all. But again, each job is so different that we wanted to get a fair evaluation to be able to use. And so we've reached out to each individual, asked them for their input on what kind of evaluation they would like to use. And we've got one from the city manager, we've got one from the city attorney. We're working on one to finalize, which the evaluation committee is kind of working on that, on the one for the municipal judge. I think we need just a little bit more time to pin that down and to tack it down and make sure that we're finalized on that. But I think it's time that maybe we go ahead and set aside some time so that way we can plan for an executive session to have our evaluations done and in what order. So I brought this up just so that way we can maybe discuss this as a council and figure out what are the dates so that way we can have a finality to this.
I'm just going to say that I think the evaluation committee needs to meet first.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we're a little premature on all this when we haven't even met. So we need to meet.
Well, then let's set aside some time to meet then, absolutely.
Need to do that.
I requested this 2 months ago, so I know everybody's busy, but our employees are overdue. So if you want, I will say, can you meet by the next council meeting?
Yes, I can.
Absolutely.
All
I
right.
think also something that we need to maybe discuss is we need to figure out a time. That way we're not juggling and trying to figure out what time can we meet to have these evaluations. I think we need to set aside a time frame with respect to budgeting. I know that budget is big this time of the year in the fall or approaching fall, but I think we need to set aside a time every year where, hey, this is the date that we do our city manager. This is the date or this meeting is the meeting that we do our, municipal judge. That way they expect a time frame. We expect a time frame that we're prepared on, and so on and so forth. And I don't know if that's in way of some sort of amendment to a policy, or I'm not quite sure.
Sure, there is a policy at this time. So that would be good, as I said 2 weeks ago, that I would like to have had it.
Yeah, a while
Have
ago.
it done, and I know your dad's had surgery, and there's been a death in the family for Mayor Pro Tem Hughes, but is it possible for us to get it on the next September 12th meeting? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Item number 32, convene into executive session pursuant to Section 551071 of the Texas Government Code, consultation with attorney, to receive legal advice from the city attorney about 1, pending or contemplated litigation, and/or 2, on matters in which the duty of an attorney to her client under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with this chapter. It is 6:52. And we will now convene into executive session.
You hit it right on the dot.
Item number 33, reconvene into open session and possibly take action on those matters discussed in executive session. The time is 7:20 PM, and the city council is now in open session. No action was taken. Item number 34, consider and approve future events for city council and/or city staff pursuant to resolution number 2004-081. Anything? All right, I'll hear a motion and a second for adjournment.
Motion.
Unanimous all evening, 7-0.